Broadcast is live.
All right. Hi, everyone. And if you are watching live or on the replay, I'm just really glad you're here. I'm Karen Harima. I'm a personal wardrobe stylist. I blog about style and beauty at stylebykaren.com. And I'm also an ambassador with Stella & Dot, which means I sell jewelry, accessories, and skincare. And you're seeing this streamed live in my Facebook private group called Ageless Style and Beauty by Karen. But I'm also going to record it. And I'm just really excited to welcome Bailey Handsaker she's the owner of Modao Resale. And we're in Vancouver, Washington, which, we serve the Portland, Vancouver area. But one of the reasons for doing this tonight was I specialize in helping women really work with what they have and go through and make things come to life. But there are times when people have bought too much or they have really bought the wrong things. And I have to say, oh, you could do better. And we really shouldn't keep that. And that's why consignment and resale is so near and dear to my heart, because I want people to get something for all those clothes that they can't use anymore. And that's where Bailey comes in. So Bailey, thanks again for being here. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how Modao came to be, the history of it.
Thank you, Karen. I'm happy to be here. So I am a mother of 2 toddler boys and also business owner. So Modao Resale once was actually Modao Chic Fashion Furniture Consignment. So 8 years ago, a little bit over 8 years ago, my mom and I took a little bit of a leap of faith and dove into the consignment industry. We always had, I'd give my mom more credit for having a dream of having some sort of boutique with me, her only daughter someday. And I had been at Nordstrom previously, and it was definitely not where I was planning to be long term. So she presented me with the idea, and I said, heck, why not? Let's do it. So in December, I left Nordstrom, and we spent January, February, March just diving in, doing lots of research, finding, business plan and a name of which came about when we were trying to find some sort of like Italian name that may have some correlation to fashion. Moda is fashion in Italian, and a lot of different languages actually. But we had a store in Portland named Moulet. I don't know if you remember, but Moulet was a super cool boutique in the Pearl District in Portland. And it had, I told this story in my last interview, I'm embarrassed, but grammatically not schooled on this, but Moulet had the little thing on the E, and we liked essentially the texture when it was written out. So we made, instead of Moda, it's Modao with the line over the A, which initially we thought the O kind of makes this a bit more not so feminine. So in years to come, if we ever dove into men's, this would kind of fit a broad range of categories if our business decided to change fast. So we started as a consignment business. We did take home furnishings as well as women's fashion. My mom's history is in fashion at Nordstrom for over a decade, and then her profession changed to interior design. So the furniture was really her strong suit and her love. 3 years in, we decided to turn the page, to say goodbye to our furniture. It was a big beast of its own. It really needed its own team and its own space, some muscles to move furniture every day. So we moved to a smaller space and honed in on what we did best, what really served us from the beginning, which was women's clothing, and accessories. And all along the way, we've aimed to be a bit more particular than your average resale store. So there's some sort of stigma, I think, that some people initially are like, oh, consignment store. We still, to this day, have people coming in questioning, what kind of store is this? They're confused.
That's actually a really good point, because when you walk in, for anyone who hasn't been there, when you walk in, it does not look like that typical consignment store. It looks like a boutique.
Yes.
And so Bailey and her mom have done such an amazing job right from the get-go. That's just the first thing that I want to say.
Thank you.
But one thing that I know, I interchange the terms consignment and resale. Mm-hmm. And I don't think everyone really knows the difference. And I know your model has changed too.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain a little bit the difference between consignment and resale?
Yeah, so there definitely is a technical difference, and I still have people message me to say, hey, are you taking consignment? And no, we're not, because we're actually not consigning anymore. So when we consigned, we offered a percentage of the sell price to the customer. So essentially, you brought your items in, we entered them into our system, got them on the floor, and it wasn't until they sold that you would get a portion of the profits. We had a 50% split at the time. So when we were encouraged to switch over to Buyout, we're a part of a national association of resale. These members are all resale store owners, consignment, resale, nonprofit. So there's a big, vast group of us doing slightly different versions of the same thing. But we ended up meeting at our first conference we attended probably 5 or 6 years ago. Sue McCarthy, who owns the Vault Luxury Resale in St. Louis, Missouri, she had a show on the Style Network called Resale Royalty. And this was when we were starting our business. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's a superstar. This is so cool. Well, we got to meet her in person. We actually bid on her at the auction and had her out to Modao.
Oh,
because
really?
We so valued her her skill set in running her business over the years. And so, her and her daughter flew out in our old store. And they just said, Bailey, Joni, you're silly to be doing consignment. It's really a task-driven business model. There's a lot of tasks that go into consignment. So anyways, that's backstory. But they really encourage us to switch over to Buyout. And the Buyout means that you get an instant cash or store credit offer on anything we can take from you. So you walk in with a handful of things and walk out with a check, versus consignment where you would wait, hope that it sold, collect a check every so often, and so forth. So that's the difference.
So, well, I've actually consigned my clothes and sold my clothes total for about 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I always took really good care of my clothes. And I thought, sure, when I would come time to, go through some things, I would have my donate pile and I would have my consign pile. But I really saw the beauty in, yes, I wanted a tax write-off, but I also knew that my clothes might be able to bring me a little something. Sometimes if they had a lot left in them, I thought, I should get something from them. And that's where, I really tried to encourage my clients that way too, is that, sometimes if you make a mistake and you buy something that you don't really wear, you can resell it. And so when I first walked into Modao, and I know that I brought clothes when you were still using the consignment model, but I love the instant gratification of bringing my things and saying, oh, okay, this is how much, this is what I'll take, and this is how much I get. And I don't have to wait for a check or whatever. So, and people who are watching in different parts of the country, I really would encourage you to try both, or, research if you don't know if there's any resale stores in your area. I mean, it sounds like it's becoming a more popular model, and so people would be able to find that. So given that, what would you say, if someone had never brought their clothes into a resale store or consignment, they've never done it before, what would you tell them? Just some maybe top 3 tips about the condition of their clothes, coming in the door.
Mm-hmm. So our little spiel, when people say, so how does this all work? And we get that daily still, which is great. That means, people are still learning of us daily. But so we, first off, we like to say that we're looking for better brand names and designer labels. So we're aiming, again, to be just a bit more upscale. And every day we're still trying to twerk that a little bit. Like, gosh, that Old Navy top is so cute, but there's really no value left in it because it was $6. Like, what can we do with it now? Anyway, so we like to say better brand names and designer labels. Even more important than that is that it's super current and trend. So we want to be a place where women come to shop for lately loved goods that it's full of items that we're shopping for currently in stores and online. So we ask that items come to us freshly laundered or dry cleaned if necessary. We always like to say on hangers if it's clothing, on hangers makes things so much more efficient because you bring it, we throw it on the rack and we can just fill through. Whereas if it's in a bag, it just takes a little bit longer. So if it does end up in a bag, we just ask that it's nicely folded because presentation is everything. If it is balled up, bagged up, we pull it out and it's super wrinkly, we're going to have to spend a good 5 minutes on that piece just steaming it. It's probably not something we want to invest in.
Sure.
So presentation is key. Cleanliness, and as far as accessories go, I like to say cleaned up and cleaned out. So shoes, wipe the soles if they're white and they've got some marks on them. Bags, again, wipe the exterior and empty it out. If there's any lipstick or we just really want these items to come in sell ready condition.
And I think you've said too, it's like if what you would like, really present it how you would like to see it on a rack. And we're going to talk a little bit in a minute how your business has changed. But since we're talking about bringing clothes in, I'm talking about, in a normal world and pre-pandemic, but you have also started to implement some curbside drop-off. So how are you going forward with that?
Well, we did one curbside drop-off event so far, following suit from our dear friends down the way in our complex at Denim and Frills. They had the kids' consignment store. They had done a couple of these drop-off events, so we thought, oh, this might be a decent way. I spent 5 or 6 weeks in the store by myself selling Facebook Lives. And I got to a point where I'm like, I miss our merchandise coming in the door. I'm so sad it's not here. We need something fresh and new for my own excitement, but also of my online customers at the time. So we did that one drop-off event. Since then, I have done a number of just by appointment drop-offs. If the customer is comfortable coming in the store, I will invite them in. And it's usually a pretty quick process of about 15 to 20 minutes of me going through your merchandise and finding the items that I think would sell in our store. And then again, presenting you that instant cash or store credit offer. So we've been doing a little bit of that. Next week, I actually have my other buyer in for a 4-hour period. We're going to take appointments every half an hour. So we're slowly building up and trying to figure out the new norm of this. And likely when we reopen, when it's safe to do so, it's probably going to be by appointment for a while. So it's something you can message me on social media or email info@modaoresale.com to talk about scheduling a drop off.
And that's a good suggestion to do it. So like, cause if, people it's the change of season and cleaning out their closets. Now that's one good thing too, is we have to, really emphasize that you're taking, spring and summer clothes right now. And so if anyone is cleaning out their closet and they have, something winter, what I usually do is I just kind of put that aside until next fall, into summer, actually, when you start taking fall. And I always have a little area where, okay, that's what I'm going to, that's my resale pile. Let's switch gears a little bit. Actually, I have one more thing before we talk about the purchasing side and coming in and buying. But, one thing that I think that I have really tried to give my clients a tip when they bring their things in, because it is, some time and energy to bring some things in.
Absolutely.
And I know I've heard like, okay, well, what if they don't take it? And, they didn't really like this or whatever, and they take it so personally. And I've learned what to say to that. But could you explain a little bit, like when something doesn't, when you don't accept something, there's some reasons for that. And I always say ask, but elaborate on that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. When you say that, and I'm like, oh, it takes it so personal level for me when people feel like I've hurt their feelings by it being personal on their level. It's silly, but it is true. A lot of us are like, you didn't want that sweater.
Yeah.
I paid $100. It's beautiful, So every day is different in the buying office at Modao. We buy with lots of things in mind. So a couple of the top things that we consider, again, as I mentioned, is it current and trend? Because if it's even barely a little old, a little worn, that's actually not the right word, just a little bit off, like I'm going to give the blazer an example here. Over the years, classic blazer. Yes, but how many years classic is it? Because the structure of the blazer continues to change. Absolutely. And the trend of the style is new this year from last, right? Like this year it's shorter, but last year it was long. Like then it's boxier or more fitted. So that's definitely a big thing. Brand names are huge, but we also kind of a trick is like take the label out of the garment. Is it something that we know our customers are going to want? So because we're investing in that piece off the bat, we have to be super laser focused. We have to know this is a business decision. We have to sell this garment. Otherwise, we're throwing money away.
And, that kind of brings me to,
condition.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You cut out
for
a little bit.
Go ahead.
I talked over you.
That's okay. Go ahead. Are you?
Tags on.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
It's new with tags is fabulous, but it really generally isn't going to bring a lot more value to a super lightly loved, hot, top-notch piece that we know we're going to sell. So another thing I wanted to mention was just that we also take into consideration what's on our floor at the time. If we have 7 gray sweaters in a size small and you bring us a fabulous gray sweater, we might pass on it because we have too many right now.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of reasons, and it is so never personal.
Exactly. And it takes some, sometimes I think it takes women a little while to know what you're looking for. And, it takes a little practice sometimes, knowing, of what even for myself, of what I should bring in. Would you say it's a good idea to, let's just say you have a bunch of workout clothes that, because you do have a nice section of workout clothes. And let's say you have a bunch, you want to bring that in. Is it a good idea to call first versus call and say, hey, are you taking a lot of workout clothes right now? Do you have that? Or is it just such a day by day thing?
It really, truly is so day by day. People still constantly ask, what are you needing right? What are you looking for right now? I don't want to do is halt you from possibly bringing me a really awesome piece that you think, oh, she didn't say she needed that, or that brand's not on the list.
Right.
We are super grateful to look at all of it and very appreciative of your effort in bringing it, and just understanding that our needs are different every day. Fashion is so cyclical, so we have to keep up with that whole process, and then the process of what our customers are buying, which is constantly changing. So much is just constantly, it's very cyclical. So
yeah, for sure. And that really leads to talking about that many women are going to come in with clothes to sell, but then there's going to be a certain amount of your clientele that are never going to bring you clothes. They just want to come and shop, because as I said, when you walk in, it is like this amazing little boutique. And when I have brought clients, they are absolutely astounded at what they can get for their money. It's a fraction of the cost. And the other thing is, I think that people don't realize, it's almost a misconception that you're not going to have current trends. Well, sometimes something that didn't work for somebody, that's a very current trend, that's what is on the racks. And so you can find something that maybe you want to try, but you don't want to spend pay full price for something that you're not really sure if it's the right, trend for you or whatever. So I do like that. And I think people forget that. Tell us a little bit about how, everyone in a small business, and especially retail now, we have had to switch gears. Everyone's using the word pivot. So you've been doing Facebook Live. So explain that a little bit to people watching.
I hit the ground running with Facebook Live as soon as we decided to close our doors. Well, I think that was at the mandate shutdown. But I committed to doing Facebook Lives Tuesday through Friday at noon. It has been a process, a learning curve for me. Really an awesome thing. I've grown my own little customer base on our Facebook Lives. And basically, I show a lot of goodies every day, and they just comment sold, an item they're interested in. And we do PayPal invoicing right now, is mainly how we're taking payment for those things. Unless they can catch me at the store, we can also take card payment over the phone. But yeah, we've had altered hours. We've tried a little bit of just posting pictures, Instagram stories, and rare posts on social media. And these lives have really been carrying us through, getting us to a place that we'll see the other side of this. Whereas if we weren't doing that, it'd be difficult, definitely. So it's been so much fun. And since we started taking in a couple new things, it almost like reset my whole live scenario, because I've now just been able to show new goodies that have come in the door that nobody's seen. So it's extra exciting for my Facebook Live followers to know that, like, this is like fresh pick. Yeah.
So one thing that I should have mentioned at the very beginning, for anybody who is watching, because some people are going to be watching live or on replay, if you have a question for Bailey, you can, we can see the comment, but at the very intro of the live, there's a link you can click on, because the StreamYard streaming platform that I'm using, actually they want permission to use your name and picture on Facebook. And it's just a really quick little thing you can click on and do that if you want to ask a question. But whether you're watching live or you want to ask the question later, I answer everything, or I'll tag Bailey in it too. So don't hesitate to do that. The next thing I wanted to ask is, what about Instagram? Are they doing like a little, like, okay, I'm interested in that, because on Facebook Live, you're saying, comments sold. And what about on Instagram?
So I have battled with going live on both platforms at the same time, but quite frankly, the aftermath of just a Facebook Live is a couple hours worth of work. And I think, what if somebody comments sold on both platforms at the same time? Like, just the nitty gritty of first in line claiming items stresses me out. I don't think I can do this without a helper. So quite frankly, I'm actually looking into a system. It is only for Facebook Live, but it's a live assist robot that's really going to streamline my Facebook Live process. For Instagram, what I've been trying to do occasionally is upload an IGTV video, but it has never been the same group of merchandise. So it is extra time, and I haven't done as well with it. But the photos I post on Instagram, lots of flat lay outfits, and then some single item Insta stories. Those two, you just comment on the photo or respond to message in the stories and can claim it the same way. So I'd like those sandals in the picture, I'll just, it's just the same, send you an invoice via PayPal. So that's also an additional way to shop.
Perfect. So, and the other thing, if you are in the Portland area, remember Modao is located just off I-5, 78th Street, and it really is such an easy way. I mean, you can get there so quickly and easily, and so it's worth it. Especially, again, without the consignment model, you can bring your clothes in, you can sell them. They'll tell you what you have it right there. You get store credit, or you get a check written and you can walk out with some money, or you can spend it there. And so that is such a nice part about it. Facebook Lives, then, just to kind of reiterate, Facebook Lives every Tuesday through Thursday at noon. So pop on, join on, like their Facebook page, and then you'll get the notification that Bailey's going to be live. I watched one the other day and it works really well. And then, as she's saying, to Instagram, you can see the flat layouts or watch their stories to kind of see things a little bit differently. But you're also doing a website too. You're working on a website?
Yes, ma'am. So we in our NARTS community have been kind of just easily pushed into okay, everybody else is doing this, we can do it too. So we have a Shopify website in the works, meaning, and our goal with it is to have 300 plus items that are in the store on Modao Resale site. So one-click shopping, experience that we are working on, getting all set up for you guys. So I'm still trying to figure out some things, but that should be launching here soon. So for those of you that do follow us, we will be posting about it and keeping you all updated on when that is going to go live and be another just really platform.
So we just have a comment
for selling that too.
From someone we both know. Linda Malmsted shops at your store. Oh, I don't know can you see the comments too?
Hi, Linda.
Yeah. So
I'm looking. I pulled it up on my phone, so now I can. Yes. Hi, Linda.
So anyway,
awesome.
Thank you for watching. I know one thing. Are you still doing that? Like when you open again, that people, if they comment on Facebook, if they check in, they get like a.
Yeah.
Are you still going to do that when you open?
Absolutely. I don't really know where that came from, but I instilled this little promotion that is like a forever promotion. It's been maybe a couple of years we've done this, but at the point of sale, when you're checking out with us, if you check in on, we give you 5% off of your purchase. So a lot of people are so awesome and willing to do that to save a little bit, but nonetheless, for us, it's invaluable because when you check in and show your whole group, your whole friend group that you were at Modao, you know, there's inevitably a new person that will be touched by that. It's been a wonderful way to spread the word about us. So yes, we will definitely be offering, find a way that we can do something similar on Instagram, but I still haven't nailed that down because it's a little different setup. So
Well, and it is true because I'll see people, have checked in there, and I think, it is. Everyone sees that and they're like, okay, what is that? What is that? So it's just a great way to get the word out. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Bailey, for taking the time out of your busy night. You've done a Facebook Live. You've been at the store most of the day. You have 2 little kids who need your attention.
Yeah, I can hear them down there, but they're fine. The rest of my family, they're all having dinner. So I'm actually like, woohoo, I gotta go. I can go upstairs by myself.
Well, thank you for doing this and for telling us a little bit more about Modao. And I hope if anyone else is watching, I hope you will check it out. And it's really a very, you'll be pleasantly surprised at what you find. So, well, have a good night, Bailey. Thank you so
Karen.
much. Thanks for everyone for watching. And we'll be on again. I'll be on again with something else soon. All right.
Bye, everyone.